Because even if we were failing to come up with an answer to what seemed like a really important question, it was nice to finally be on the same page again. For a long time, we had no idea how we did at that meeting. What did Daniel think of us? And our answer to that question. But I recently had the chance to ask him, what was he looking for in that meeting anyway?
Obviously, I'd been looking at interviews that you guys had made and even videos and stuff like that. So I had a decent sense, but I didn't really know what you wanted to do with the company.
Was it was it like it's sort of from my perspective, and I think from Matt's perspective, it was hard to not see it in some, not that it was entirely this, but like some parts of this felt like a test that we could either pass or fail.
Yeah, of course.
For you, it was that as well.
Yeah, of course.
Like we could have failed.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was about gaining conviction that you were the thought leaders I thought you were.
There was a point where Matt and I were like, wait, did we just fail this test? You asked a specific question. Do you have any idea what question I'm going to say?
No, actually, none at all.
At one point you asked us, we were talking about like the future and like what was coming and like the ecosystem, and we were sort of giving some answer, and I think you sort of waved it off and you were like, yeah, but let's say you had $1 billion.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Yeah.
And it was like, for Matt and I, having been running this company for so long and just being like, can we add another person to this team?
Right.
Like, can we add one more head here? Or like, it was just we felt like completely unequipped to answer that question.
Yeah.
And so we just sort of flumbered around. And I remember, I think I said, I don't know, I'd try to hire Jad Abumrad or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Matt was like, or we try to do something with Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
But I remember I remember trying to all of a sudden switch gears entirely and think huge. And sort of failing.
Yeah.
Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, I remember the conversation. That wasn't part of like, I will say just like sort of a cheat sheet now on how we do this. I tend to ask that question. It's very rare that someone has like a really good answer. And if they do, I actually get more worried than if because then you're kind of like in a situation where you need to ask them like, well, why haven't you?
Yes.
Because if they had a great plan to do it already, they probably should have done it. So the goal isn't actually whether you have a good plan or not. The goal is actually to find out why you can't like take $1 billion into it.
Right. And I think at some point Matt said, honestly, I don't know if we could, like, I don't know if we could spend $1 billion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we got into the true ethos of your company, which is like, well, we just don't know how to do that with quality. And it was like, okay, well, that's good to know, because like you were focused on